No one expects to walk into a business where they've made an appointment and arrived on time, only to be treated like they're invisible. But that's what happened to Henry Carter on a quiet Tuesday morning in April. A man who spent his life working with his hands, planting crops, and harvesting with pride, now stood in a bank lobby feeling like an unwanted guest in a place where his time and presence didn't seem to matter. Henry was 65, a third-generation farmer from Cedar Vale, a small rural town near the Blue Ridge Mountains. He was used to early mornings, muddy boots, and worn barns. His hands were rough, scarred, and tough from years of fixing fences, herding cattle, and repairing old machines. He didn't talk much, but when he did, people usually listened, except today. He arrived at Oakwood Trust Bank, the branch in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, at 9:50 a.m. for his 10 o'clock appointment with branch manager Diane Miller. He'd never met her, but her name was clear in the email confirmation. Henry carried a leather briefcase, a gift from his late wife for their 30th anniversary, now scratched but special. He wore his cleanest flannel shirt, tucked into dark jeans, and had trimmed his beard to look neat, though he didn't care much about looks. The bank lobby was spotless, shiny marble floors, fancy lights, and a smell of coffee and lemon polish. Henry paused as he stepped inside, tipping his hat before walking to the receptionist. "Good morning," he said in a quiet but steady voice. "Name's Henry Carter, here for a 10 o'clock with Ms. Miller." The woman at the desk, in her early 30s with perfect clothes and straight hair, barely looked up. Her nameplate read Ashley. She nodded slightly, typed a bit, and said, "You're on the list. Please sit. She'll be with you soon." Henry nodded, took off his hat, and sat in a leather chair by the big windows. Sunlight poured in, casting shadows on the glossy floor. He set his briefcase on his lap and waited. And waited. At first, Henry didn't mind the minutes passing, delays happen, and he'd lived long enough to know that. But by 10:30, when he saw two other customers arrive, one in a fancy suit, another in high heels with a designer scarf, and get greeted right away and led past the frosted glass doors, he started to feel uneasy. By 10:45, Henry leaned forward, resting his arms on his knees. He noticed Ashley laughing at her phone, showing it to a coworker, not looking at him once since he arrived. At 11 o'clock, Henry went to the counter again, hat in hand. "Excuse me, ma'am. Just wondering if Ms. Miller's running late." Ashley didn't stand or look at him. "She's with another client. It won't be long." Henry's jaw tightened. He knew that wasn't true. He'd seen 3 clients go back since he arrived, all in and out in under 20 minutes. Still, he nodded politely and sat down, hoping, maybe too trustingly, that things were fair, that she had a reason. But at 11:30, when a young man in shiny shoes and a dark suit walked in, said, "Hey, girl," to Ashley, and was taken back without even giving his name, Henry stood up again. "Excuse me," he said, firmer now. "I've been here almost an hour and a half. I had an appointment." That young man just walked in and didn't wait a second. Ashley blinked, then sighed loudly. "Sir, Ms. Miller is busy. You'll be called when it's your turn." "But I had a scheduled time," Henry said. "At 10 o'clock. It's almost noon." "She's finishing up," Ashley repeated, her voice flat. Henry's face grew warm, not from shame but from something deeper. He felt small, like his hard-working life didn't matter in this shiny place. He sat again, but now his grip on the briefcase was tight, his eyes fixed on the frosted glass doors. Every time they opened, every time another customer walked through, the message was clear. This place wasn't for him. At 12:15, Henry made up his mind. He stood slowly, put on his hat, and walked past the counter, past the fake smiles, past the empty excuses, straight to the frosted doors. Ashley finally looked up. "Sir, you can't go back there." Henry kept going, his boots making soft thuds on the polished floor as he pushed open the door. Inside, a quiet hallway stretched left and right, lined with offices. He looked around and saw her, Diane Miller, sitting at a big desk, typing, her phone in hand. She wasn't with anyone. She hadn't been the whole time. Henry knocked once on the doorframe and stepped in. "Ms. Miller," he said, calm but strong. She looked up, surprised. "Mr. Carter," she said, her brows wrinkling. "You should have waited to be called." "I've been waiting," Henry said. 2 hours. Diane's face hardened. "You can't just walk in." "I've got every right," Henry said, his voice steady but heavy. "I made an appointment. I came on time. I sat quietly while a dozen people went past me. I was ignored. Now I'm here, and I expect some respect." The room went quiet. Diane was about to speak when the door opened behind Henry. "Henry Carter," a man's voice said. Henry turned to see a tall man in his 60s, in a navy suit with small gold cufflinks. His face was lined but sharp, his presence calming the room. "Henry, I thought you were meeting with Diane," the man said with a sorry smile. "I'm Charles Reed, the regional director." "What's going on?" Henry faced him. "What's going on, Mr. Reed, is I've been sitting out there for 2 hours while everyone in a suit gets rushed to the back. I'm starting to think folks like me don't belong here in your eyes." Charles blinked, looked at Diane, then pointed to the hallway. "Come with me." They went to a big conference room with a shiny table. Charles offered Henry a seat and sat down, hands folded. "I'm sorry. That shouldn't have happened." "I don't want apologies," Henry said. "I want answers." Charles nodded. "You're right. These places, mine included, sometimes forget that wealth doesn't always wear a tie." Henry leaned back, breathing deep. "I don't want special treatment. I want fair treatment. And you'll get it," Charles promised. "Starting now." True to his word, within the hour, the loan papers Henry brought were reviewed and handled by Charles himself. As the meeting ended, Charles stood. "You made a point today," he said. "I hope everyone here learns from it." As Henry left the conference room and walked through the lobby, Ashley didn't speak. She looked up, face pale, lips tight, but Henry didn't stop. He nodded once and stepped outside. The sun had moved, a soft breeze stirring the trees along the street. His phone buzzed, a message, "Loan approved." Henry smiled, not just for the loan but for what it meant. Not only for him, but for everyone like him. He wasn't invisible anymore. From that day on, no one who walked through those glass doors with their pride and calloused hands was ignored again. Oakwood Trust Bank changed, treating every person with respect, no matter their clothes or work, because one farmer's stand showed fairness matters.